Welcome back to Master Your Glass with me, Livio Laro. I am your host, and today I have the great Angus Winchester, who has traveled from afar to make this drink for us. I can't wait for you to see what he's doing here. It's really cool. Let's get into this. I am happy you are here today with me for yet another episode of Master Your Glass. This very fine and handsome gentleman to my right is Angus Winchester. Angus has been bartending for over 30 years, many professions within the bar, the cocktail, and the hospitality world. We've seen him do his work in Denmark. We've seen him in the United States, in the United Kingdom, in Australia, in Canada, and probably I'm missing one or two more. But really, what difference does it make? This gentleman here also ranked in the top 7 of the top 100 most influential cocktail people in 2019. And with that, it is my distinct honor to also introduce to you a friend, somebody that I met about a decade ago here in Las Vegas, Nevada, in your days as the global brand ambassador for Tanqueray, and that is Angus Winchester. Angus, I guess the question of the day is, what the hell are you going to make for us?
Well, it's interesting. I made my reputation by training bartenders, and I used to start off by saying a good bartender needs 4 groups of skills: knowledge, efficiency, style, and service. And I think that's great, but a lot of bartenders would say, what about creativity? And I was like, creativity, think of it like being a musician. Like, a great musician doesn't have to write hit tunes. A great musician can understand how music theory works, can play every instrument, can read music and things like that. And that creativity, I think, has been a bit over-fetishized. And one of the reasons I say that is because I've never really invented any cocktail that any other bartender should ever make, apart from this one, the single malt peanut butter flip. So I'd like to make it for you today. I was doing a consultancy in Hong Kong in 2006 for the Mandarin Oriental over there, and we did a cocktail list based around past, present, and future. This was when molecular mixology was all the rage, and I remember reading that at some molecular level, single malt and peanut butter worked really well together. So that inspired me, but of course, like every great bartender, I looked back in history and found a cocktail called a flip. Now, there are 2 different types of flip, but the one that's more popular today is really spirit, egg, cream, shaken, and that's where my inspiration came from. But I decided to use that molecular stuff to put together peanut butter with single malt. The cocktail was popular for a bit and then died away, but then Misty Calcafin in Boston put it on an Easter cocktail menu, because of course it used an egg. And that gave it sort of new life. Now, I think this is a cocktail that instead of putting the alcohol ingredients or the proportions, you should actually potentially put the calories, because some people say it's a meal as well as a drink. But as I say, it's a great old style of drink with a new bit of a twist. So, what we do is we get some single malt. Now, I'm using Talisker Storm today, but obviously feel free to experiment. I'm going to use a jigger, just because it's early in the morning for me here, a little bit jet lagged. So we're going to put a single malt in, then we're going to put our peanut butter. Again, try different types of peanut butter. This is a lovely organic one, of course. But we're going to get a Barspoon, just about a teaspoon or a bar spoon's worth. And then put it in now, because you're going to mix it round. Because if you put the ice in too soon, obviously it's going to all sort of freeze up and stick to the ice cubes. You're going to mix it round so you get a nice, I wouldn't say a paste, because you're not using that much in there.
I love that tip.
Yeah.
Don't put the ice.
Oh yes, sure. Well, it's all about the little tips, etc. Then we're going to put a single shot of cream in there. Then some people would say it's an egg yolk. Other people would say it's a whole egg. Rather than have to separate it on camera, I'm going to put the whole egg in here. So I say a whole good fresh egg in there. And eggs were a very traditional ingredient in many cocktails. Then you can always add a little bit of sugar in there. You can always add more sugar, you can't take it away, and the peanut butter adds some sugar to it as well. So you don't want to make it too sweet. It definitely was a richer after dinner style of drink. Then lots of ice.
There you go.
Then we're going to shake it. Now obviously I talk when I shake, because they say when you shake a cocktail as hard as you possibly can, you don't think about what you look like. So theoretically you get what's called shaker face, which is the face that you have when you're doing something that you're enjoying, but don't think what you look like. So some people say the face you have when you're shaking a cocktail is the same face you have when you're having sex, which is why I talk now when I shake the cocktail, because I don't want to limit my chances any more than necessary. So give it a really good shake like that. Break it open. It's going to be a little bit messy, so be careful. Get a strainer, and I tend to use just a wine glass for this, and you're going to strain it in.
Oh, I love that color.
Wonderful color to it. It's not going to fill up the entire glass, but that's okay. And finally, last thing you can do is garnish it with a little bit of fresh grated nutmeg. Try not to make sure that your fingers get in there. We don't need any Angus fingernail in this drink. But here we have a peanut butter single malt flip. Very simple, allows you to play about with it. You can make it at home. And I have to say, as a mixologist, the amount of times I've been in people's kitchens late at night and they're like, make us a drink. Well, they have terrible ingredients. But I did tend to find an egg, spirit, and peanut butter. It does tend to be in most people's cabinet. So it is a drink that you can make at home, as well as impressing in bars as well. So, single malt peanut butter flip.
Okay, and I'm going to get to try this bad boy. I love the color. It's almost got that, you know, what is it called? Zouave, which is that the egg-based liqueur that almost has a slight yellow creamy tint to it.
Well, you can argue about it being beige or oatmeal or taupe or off-white and things like that, which is, you know, well, nowadays the colour is a thing. The visuality for the drink is very important. But as I say, it's a classical style of drink. The flip works well with port, it works well with aged rum, aged tequila. So it's about understanding the families of drinks rather than necessarily newfound recipes. But I think that one works quite well.
Very nice. I almost get a little banana note to it in addition to the nutmeg. It's whatever the combination did, it threw some banana inside the glass. But let's go ahead and give this a sip.
Rich, velvety.
Money. Rich, velvety. But it's incredible how the Talisker kicks in on mid-palate. So as you're getting this easy to drink, alcoholic creaminess, velvetiness, all of a sudden mid-palate to the end, you get a nice little Talisker smoke, which is unfreaking real. So good. And I love how it surprises you. It's kind of like when you drink it, I'm not saying it was monochromatic on the first sip by no stretch of the imagination, but it just became a blast of flavor halfway through once the Talisker clicked in. I'm going to give that another sip. And yeah, the aroma is incredible.
Yeah, and you can play about different single malts, obviously. Nothing too smoky. No Ardbeg, no Lefroy, no Octomore, but at the same time, using a sherried whiskey, it goes quite well. And as I say, it's a versatile drink, and it's part of a family. So at the end of the day, you know, once you learn this drink, you have so many other variations and possibilities you can do.
Awesome. And it ends up with a dark chocolate. Right now I'm feeling like a dark chocolate mouth, which is incredible because none of these ingredients are in that drink. So it just shows you the versatility of the ingredients in the cocktail and how it was mixed together. Angus, I've always heard you say you're not a mixologist, you're a bartender. Is that correct?
Very much so. I mean, I normally introduce myself as my name's Angus and I'm an alcoholic with a bartending problem, but I think it's about tending the bar. It's about, you know, looking after the person sitting in front of you. It's the trifecta between drink, drinker, and those that serve them. And that's been my life's passion, to find out as much as I can about drink, drinker, and those that serve them, which is, of course, an endless task, and why my job is so wonderful.
It is. It is. Alrighty, well, if you enjoyed this episode, please do give it a like. And if you're not subscribed yet, please do subscribe to Master Your Glass with me, Livio Laro, where you get expert instruction for everyday consumption.